Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Drop them sevens in the comments. Let me know the audio coming through clearly. We done made it again. Found the Most High blessed us again. Let's see. Drop a 7 in the comments. Let me know the audio coming through clearly. Thank you. The water. Torah. Gracias.
Hey, easy.
Mr. Charlie. Shabbat shalom. All praise to the Most High. Thank you, our Holy One. Thank you, Father. Thank you. Glory and honor go to the Most High, man. The Father of lights, the Ancient of Days, the King of Kings, the King of Glory, the only wise God. Thank you, Father. He deserves all the glory, all the honor, all the praise, all the esteem, all the attention, all the focus, all the credit is due to him. Thank you, Father. Bless your holy name, my Holy One. Bless your holy name. All praise to the Most High. Thank you. Thank you, Father, for water out. He is good. He is great. He is wonderful. Yes, he is. The water out. Thank you, our Holy One. Thank you, our Holy One. Thank you for your goodness. Thank you for truth. Thank you for healing. Thank you for favor, Father. Thank you for mercy. Thank you for kindness. Thank you for holiness. Thank you for righteousness. The water hour. Thank you. Thank you for cleanliness. Thank you for a good understanding. Thank you, Father. Thank you for knowledge, truth, and wisdom from on high, from heaven. Thank you. Thank you, Father. Thank you, our Holy One, for great health. Thank you for unity. Thank you for peace. Thank you for power over the adversary. Thank you for discipline. Thank you, our Holy One. You welcome in this place. You welcome in this place, Father. Holy Spirit, you welcome in this place. The Son is welcomed in this place. The Messiah is welcomed in this broadcast. Yes, he is. The Godhead is welcome. All praise and glory and honor goes to you, Father. Thank you for light. Thank you for trust. Thank you for help. Thank you for water out. Thank you for another Sabbath. The water hour. Thank you, Holy One. All praise and glory and honor goes to the great I am that I am, the Holy One of Israel. All praise to the Most High. We're here again, family. The Sabbath, the Shabbat, the 7th day being a sign between us and the Creator, the Holy One of Israel. He found us worthy to pour out his pleasure again, to sustain us not only throughout the week, but even up until the point right now. We thank him for his word to not leave us in this realm without some kind of insight and some kind of guidance to understand his oracles, his perspective, what he feels, his instructions, his direction, the things that please him and that displease him. A way for us to know the do's and don'ts in this life, man. Man, that's a wonderful blessing. And everybody not listening to it, everybody not hearkening, everybody not humbling themselves under the hand of the Most High. Everybody not appreciative of that. You know what I mean? So in this hour, and the hour was progressing, moving forward, family, you know, just for us to be able to take time to say, man, we're going to cut everything off. Everything that we did the 6 days prior to today, we're going to put all of that on hold. We're going to put that on stop. And we're going to honor the Most High to keep his Sabbath holy. Matter of fact, before we jump into the message, let me get this, because a brother sent me an email about Isaiah 58 and 13, but let me go to Exodus 20 first. Let me go to Exodus 20. We're going to get to the message, save our daughters. Save our daughters. Yes, yes indeed. Our sons need saving too, but this is the way that the direction of where the Most High brought me this morning. So I can't go against the grain. If I do, I will be slaughtered. Just like anybody else, man. But I think a lot of times, at least for me, it seems like I get a different kind of punishment, man. Shabbat shalom, peace and blessing to the whole chat, everybody who tuning in, everybody who will tune in. Exodus 20 and 8. These are instructions from the one who, when you hear that thunder, you see that lightning strike. You know what I mean? You see those clouds gather. You see that tornado. You see the hurricane. You feel that heat that's heating up, like people in France dying from the heat. The same one that's able to adjust the thermometer, you know what I mean, the thermostat rather. This is what he said. You want to know something that please him? This is what he said. Exodus 20 and 8, it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Remember, so we got to have mental work. Despite, you know what I mean, the devil want to get into our minds, distract us, you know what I mean, occupy our mental spaces to throw us out to where we're not even thinking about the Shabbat. The Father said, man, you got to use some mental work. Remember the Sabbath. This thing got to be in our minds, embedded and rooted in our minds, and it have to be more powerful, fed more than the negativity of the world. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Holy means to be set apart. So whatever I did in 6 days, played the game, whatever form of fun you can think of, whatever form of, you might want to get to arguing with somebody and all that type of stuff. All of that cease and stop at the door, man. When the Sabbath come in, all of that is put to an end. So the reflection, the depiction, and how your Sabbath day look should be a clear distinction between the 6 days prior. When the Sabbath day comes, you yourself, the way your household is being ran, the way you behave and operate should be clearly different from how you operated the 6 days prior to. Isaiah 58. I'm going to go here because this was the question was. Brother asked about this, Isaiah 58. So if it's one person, indeed, let me turn the volume up. I don't know if it could be something going on with my mic. I might need to get a new one. I don't know. But I'm trying to not, you know, if I turn it up too loud, it'll get distorted. Okay, I see what it is. That's better, huh? I can almost guarantee that's better. I had my pad now on my interface. I appreciate that, though. Thank you, Lariah. Isaiah 58. The volume sound better now? Let me be sure. Sound better? Isaiah chapter 58, though. Isaiah chapter 58. Now he been blessed over with another Sabbath, man. Another Sabbath. I'll pray to the Most. I appreciate that, Mr. Chocolate. Yes, sir. All right, Isaiah 58, verse 13. The question was pertaining to an email. It says, if thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure, on my holy day. This is what the Father's saying. If we turn our foot from doing our own pleasure, what's pleasing to us, what's fun to us, what we prefer to do, you know what I mean, as far as day-to-day living, daily basis, interaction with people, and all those things. He said, if you decide, if you choose to not do your own pleasures on my day, which is the holy day, the Sabbath day, he said, and call the Sabbath a delight. So it shouldn't be something where we feel strained, where we feel like, man, I can't wait till the Sabbath is over. I hate that I can't do this, that, and the third that I've been doing throughout the week on this day. If you feel like that, you got to check your spirit. That's a problem. You really don't love doing, you're not delighting in doing the will of the Father. It tells us in Psalm, it said, I delight to do thy will. Oh my God. Yea, thy law is within my heart. So if we not delighting in obeying the Holy One of Israel, man, we got a problem within our spirit. We need to check ourselves. Might need to go on a fast. You need to cleanse your spirit. You need to stop accepting, stop absorbing so many of these different sources that's against the Most High. I said, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Most High, honorable. This is something that's honorable, man. This is not a dishonorable instruction to keep. This is not something that should make us feel bothered in our spirit, irritated, mad, like we doing something wrong. He said, man, you supposed to call this a day of honor. Man, we getting time in with the Father. If you don't know, man, this is one of the main times where the realm, and what I would call like a funnel, between the earth realm and the spirit realm, where the Father pour out downloads on the Shabbats, on the Sabbath days. All right, where we can be more in tune with his frequency. It says, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. So we watching what we say. We watching how we talk. You know what I mean? You got spirits that arise up oftentimes on the Shabbat strictly. They wait till the Sabbath hit. They want to start an argument. Want to start a problem, to be debating. And now you bumping heads with people because they want to get into discussions that's not holy. It's not set apart. I don't want to talk about no sports. I don't want to gossip about nobody. People want to gossip on Shabbat. That's not keeping it holy. That's actually defiling the Sabbath. So here is telling us, be mindful of what you're saying. Be mindful of what you're doing. Make sure that the mind state that we're in, the mentality that we operate in, is we want to be pleasing to the Father. We want it to be that when he looked down on the earth and he looking for who got his sign on them, who's keeping this, we want to make sure, man, we in the best position possible where he's saying, yeah, they doing my business. They doing my will. Everybody outside of that that's going out to party and do anything else to fulfill and feel like they, you know, finding their own pleasure, whatever that may be. If it's outside of the guidelines of the Shabbat, where it's set apart, you in danger. That's what I'm gonna tell you. Those individuals are in danger. Like I done pulled it up and dropped it online before. Most of the people who get unalive or lose their lives, family, statistically, it happened on Sabbath days, on a Saturday. And that ain't a coincidence, man. You know what I mean? And a lot of it is because how the week has been constructed by the powers that be. They say, well, we're going to start the week off on a Monday, the work week, Monday to Friday. By the time Wednesday hit, we call it a hump day. You're tired. Friday hit, you get your paycheck. Now, you've been at work all week, collecting this stress from co-workers and, trying to make ends meet and dealing with family responsibilities. Life all together, what's happening in the news. Demons and influencing people and all that. Friday hit, you ready to get your paycheck, go out and have some fun. You want your time of leisure. You want to go out to a bar, go to a club, just different people. You want to go out somewhere and have some fun. Well, the problem with it is that's the trick of the enemy. He wants you to do it on a Sabbath day. And it shouldn't be done on the Shabbat. Which takes us back to what we read in Exodus 20, where he say, remember. So we got to keep those things in mind. So with your own pleasure, shouldn't be laying down with your spouse. You shouldn't be doing it. You know what I'm saying? I got to say that. Because some people feel like, well, no, there's something that we can do. No, don't find your own pleasure. Remember, this is how we know too. Remember when the meeting was had at the Mount Sinai? He told the people prior to the meeting, he said, don't come at your wife. So meaning, don't go lay down with your wife, man. Don't y'all do none of that. If you finna come to a meeting with the Holy One of Israel, you want to be presented holy. You want to be clean because that act turns us unclean. Got to understand it, man. All right. But for the message, man, all glory and honor goes to the Most High. Save our daughters. Save our daughters, our princesses. And what's happening, man, in so many cases, our little girls that become young ladies, that become grown women, many of them don't have that same softness that was supposed to be instilled in them in the original design from the Most High. And it's so many dynamics that come with it and so many reasons of how that happened. But I want to submit to you all to let you know that that's not normal. And on top of that, there is a spirit, and it's an adverse spirit to the Most High. We talk about the Jezebel spirit, but a lot of times we don't address or talk about this same spirit that was driving Queen Vashti or Vashti. And we're going to get it out of Esther. You got a lot of our young women, our daughters, they don't have relationships with their fathers. And that's for a whole lot of reasons. One of the reasons being the man and the woman got together, the male or the female got together, and guess what? They ended up parting ways. Now, when they parted ways, the mother decided, well, let me use the daughter, the child, as a tool against the father. Let me use the children as a tool. And that becomes a situation where the daughter not having a male figure to guide her, to show her the ways of a man. And then on top of that too, aside from just a woman wanting to keep the children away, because that's not always the case, the men, a lot of the men just walk away. They don't want nothing to do with the child. They don't want nothing to do with the girl. They don't want nothing to do with the princess. They feel like they want to go and live their lives irresponsible. And both situations being wicked. Both of those mentalities and thought processes are evil. You know what I mean? Because you have the wherewithal to lay down and make the child, now have the wherewithal to take care of the child. All right, so, but what's happening, we see so many of us being raised by the grandmothers, being raised by the auntie, being raised by the older cousin, the sister having to raise. And in a lot of cases, that responsibility becomes or is set into the laps of those individuals. So what we see in the world, though, is a lot of the grandmothers, a lot of the aunties, a lot of the older cousins, they don't teach their little girl a righteous way. They clap for them in their evil. They praise them in their wickedness. They tell them, well, look, use what you got to get what you want. And that's evil. They don't tell them nothing about, hey, you need to make sure that not only are you dressing modestly, but your spirit should be modest. You need to have training on how to carry yourself as a respectable, honorable female. All right, and then what else happened? Because a lot of those girls don't have that male figure because the man is supposed to show that girl. The father's supposed to show his daughter. Look, baby, this is how you deal with and what you look for, how a man should handle and treat you. This is how you recognize a clown. This is what men don't like. This is what males don't respect. This is what men expect from you. All right, but because that teaching is not there, so many of the women become contaminated, and guess what? The world becomes their teacher. And who's the God of this world? Satan. That's why it's being ran how it's ran. I'm not saying that Satan is in control or the Father has lost control of the planet. He never did. I'm not saying that the Father is not able to stop Satan at any given point. I'm not saying it. I'm saying the devil has been given the opportunity to go out through the earth to do what he's going to do. And all those who choose, because it's contingent on each individual. If you choose Satan, that's your choice. The Father ain't going to come off his throne to make the decision for you. All right, so a lot of our daughters are being destroyed. That led to the slaughter. They're not being saved because they didn't have that male figure there to tell them otherwise. And then some of them had the male figure there, and the male figure took advantage of it. My heart go out to y'all if you in that situation, if that's what you've experienced. But one thing we got to understand that above any male, any man, the Father, the creator of all things, he gave us, like I said in the beginning. You want to know the way of righteousness? You want to know how to be a pleasing female in the sight of the creator? Your answers is in his book. Let's go to Esther, though. Let's go to Esther, the book of Esther. We're going to chapter 1. It's after Nehemiah. It's after the book of Nehemiah and before Job. We're going to Esther chapter 1. Yeah, so the salvation to save our daughters, you know what I mean? Their responsibility in many cases is in the laps of the women. Older women, you know what I mean? You got it to where a lot of our daughters have been destroyed and introduced prematurely to an ungodly lifestyle, which end up leading them to a destructive or destroyed future because the older cousin, like, yeah, like my little cousin, my female little cousin, bring the boys over my house. I ain't gonna, you know, fuss at you like your mama gonna do. I ain't gonna fuss at you like your dad or your grandpa gonna do, pawpaw. I'm not gonna get mad. I'm gonna let you have fun. It's about having fun. Not knowing that when you do that, you introduce them. Like I said, it's like you handing them to Satan on a golden platter. He just smacking his lips. He can't wait. All right, and the importance of this is because if we go back to what happened in the Garden of Eden, the adversary Hashatan understand the power that these females hold, man. We're going to get it out the Torah, but here it is. I said Esther, so I'm going to stick to what I said. Esther chapter 1, right here. Before we get to verse 8, you're looking at King Ahasuerus. He didn't through, or he got this royal celebration that's going to last 180 days. Because the Medes or the Persians is the world power at this point. All right, so you want to celebrate for 180 days. And of course, within the celebration, you know, they drinking and having fun. So that's the backstory, right? So I'm starting with verse 8. It says, and the drinking was according to the law. None did compel, for so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house that they should do according to every man's pleasure. So that law he's referring to is talking about we're not supposed to try to force somebody to drink more than what they can even handle or what they want. Verse 9 though. It says, also Vashti, the queen, made a feast for the women in the royal house which belonged to King Ahasuerus. And we want to take this slowly. Also Vashti, the queen. You got to keep that in mind. This is a woman with a level of prestige that's not just common. She's in a position of authority and power. And by being in that same position, what she does can spread. It can spread and influence all the other women. Verse 10 says, on the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, and Abagtha, Zethar, and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look on. So the king, he got this party going. He like, man, what baby? Matter of fact, man, hey, bring my wife in here, man. She's so fine. You know what? I just want to show my wife off because she's beautiful. Said, bring her to me with the crown royal, meaning with the crown. All right. This was the instruction from the king. Verse 12 said, but the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. All right. So by the queen refusing, it upset the king. Now, something about this word refuse. Let me pull this up. Something about this, get a quick Google definition. And this was interesting. This was interesting, family, when my father was leading me to this part. All right, so she refused. I'm going to keep reading, and I'm going to come back to this definition and show you why it was interesting. But she refused, right? Now, as a king, if you don't understand it, it's not like a president. A president got to get checks and balances. Let me check in with the judicial branch or the legislative branch before I make a decision. That's not how it works with a king. Absolute power belongs to a king. They answer to nobody. And in defying a king, whether you the queen, whether you the prince, whether you the princess, whether you the chamberlains and the eunuchs, whether you the general over the army, whoever you are, if you deny the king, because I might kill him, I kill her, put them to death, they disobeyed me, because it's understood that that seed can grow into a tree. Meaning that thought process and that act, if it goes unchecked, so many others can adopt the same thing. All right. Verse 13 said, then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment. And the next unto him was Karshena, Shethar, Admathar, Tarshish, Meres, Marsena, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face and which sat the first in the kingdom. He said, what shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to law, because she have not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains? How should I handle and deal with my wife disobeying me? Not just my wife, but the queen. So he asking his advisors, these wise men. Verse 16 says, and Memucan answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen have not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes, and to all the people that are in all the provinces of the king of Ahasuerus. So again, because she's in this position where she holds the power of great influence, her actions can trigger, spread off to, the spirit in her can jump off onto other people, other women. And this will happen a lot of times where our daughters are cradled by wicked women. Wicked women who they got spite against their fathers. They have hatred that they bearing against their uncles and against men altogether, to where they say, you don't need no man. You don't need no man. You more than me. Men are beneath you. Destroying that girl, destroying that female because of the resentment that they have. Not even that the child themselves got to deal with it. A lot of the girls, they have their father. The father wanting to be active, having to fight, having a battle for chances and opportunities just to spend time with the girl, with his own seed. All right, and in the meanwhile, in his absence, a lot of times, I think I talked about this before, being poisoned mentally against that man. All right, so but here, it said Vashti, she didn't just disobey or disrespect you, king. She didn't disrespect the princes, which are male royalty, and along with that, all the people of the kingdom. Verse 17, for this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands. Oh, if the queen don't gotta obey the king, the highest level man in his whole society, why should I have to obey my husband that worked at Walmart? Why should I have to respect my husband that's a mechanic? This is the mentality. And all of this right here is suitable how the Father capitalized on it for us to get understanding from. You got to know that these are Gentile. This is a Gentile nation, Israel. This is a Gentile nation, but it was cleaned up by an Israelite woman who didn't have this mindset. All right, it says, despise their husbands in their eyes when it shall be reported. The king of Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen, thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. So by this disobedience, to where now you got Queen B, Beyonce, a witch, demon-possessed woman, sell out. This is not me just creating allegations, man. This, do your research. She come out with the song, Who Run the World? Girl. You say, to the left, to the left. I don't need you, man. But here it is. She's married to Sean Carter. Jay-Z, she's married to they billionaires now. But she putting out the songs telling the common women who looking up to her as an influence. You don't need no man, but she got her man to destroy you, to destroy our daughters. It's so much power in what the Father created from the beginning, male and female, unified with dominion together. It's so much power in it. But the adversary say, if I can drive this wedge between this man and this woman, hey, I can just cause the whole thing to collapse. And so the women being influenced and they being, they have an admiration for these different women. Admiration for women who don't care nothing about the Most High. They end up making life harder for themselves. They end up creating wars under their own roof because they've adopted this demonic mentality. Refuse. What I say? Let's go here. Let me share my screen, just so we all can see it. Because she refused. Now, the Hebrew word for refuse is ma'an. And that same word, ma'an, is used even to show or define disobeying or refusing to obey the Most High. This is what's seated in that spirit. All right, so refuse, right? Is a verb that means to decline an offer, to deny a request, to withhold compliance. Yep. But this is what was interesting to me. As a noun, refuse. Said it refers to useless, unwanted, or discarded material, trash, or garbage. Trash or garbage. What do we do with trash and garbage? She refused, and just like it talk about the threshing floor, whatever's left that's not needed, man, you don't care about that. So when she refused, guess what? The Most High is so cold, infinite in his wisdom. For her refusal, she was treated just like refused. Now she's removed. Esther 1:19 says, if it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes. Let it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus. And let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. And when the king's decree which he shall make shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to great and small. And the saying pleased the king and the princes, and the king did according to the word of Memucan. For he sent letters into all the king's provinces, into every province according to the writing thereof, into every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every people. Keep in mind that our people were subjugated in that kingdom, in this Persian kingdom at this time period. But so that all the women will recognize that, like, man, it'll be a domino effect. That rebellion, which the book tells us rebellion is as witchcraft, that rebellion will spread unto other women. Now making it to tie in with the title of the message, Saving Our Daughters. That feminist movement, where the women saying, hey, you know, we don't have to listen to men. We can do everything men could do. Even so much so where the peer or the view from female eyes at men or on men say that, man, you beneath me. I'm a goddess. I'm a goddess. You nothing. You beneath me. Which brings me to another point. All praise to the Lord. Thank you, Father, for bringing it back to me. But notice in Esther, right, it said in verse 18, let me go here. It said that it'll be too much contempt. Now look at this word, because this is the spirit that's operating in a lot of people today. There is the reason for the destruction of our daughters, man. Contempt. It says a powerful feeling of disrespect, scorn, or the belief that someone or something is worthless and beneath consideration. These men are not, there's something wrong with these men. This is the mentality that a lot of these women have. And this same mentality is destroying our daughters, man. And they are a product of being destroyed. So they only teach them what they know. says a powerful feeling of disrespect, scorn, or the belief that someone or something is worthless and beneath consideration. It combines disgust with the sense of moral or intellectual superiority. They say, I'm smarter than you. I didn't even hear men say it a lot of cases. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, women are smart. And this is not no message about trying to demean women. Listen to what I'm saying. This mentality is a sickness that destroys our daughters. And if our daughters are destroyed, guess what? Our men get destroyed. This is how the fall happened. Satan know that he can't come to that man straight up. He got to go through what we going to let our guards down for? Our women. All right, and so a lot of our women don't have their guards up. They feeling like they smarter. That man is beneath me. And then they get to training the children, the little girls, the little cousins. They're not telling them nothing right and righteous like the book tells us that the women's supposed to do. Let's go to Titus, man. Let's go to Titus. Titus chapter 2. Then I'm going to go into the Torah. Save our daughters. And that spirit right there, when we see that, and if you're a woman in position where, that man ain't got a lot of contact with his daughter. And men, if you are, we're not supposed to be so soft and sweet with our daughters to where we just let them do whatever. When you see that rebellious spirit, man, we supposed to check that. It's after Timothy. Titus chapter 2. Save our daughters, man. Titus chapter 2, verse. Let me see. I'm going to hit 3. I'm going to go with 3. Titus chapter 2, verse 3. Because there's a lot of our daughters who suffering and they don't even know why, man. They don't even know why life is so challenging for them. You know what I mean? And this is a part of the reason. Titus chapter 2, verse 3 says that aged women likewise. Let me start with 1 because we want to know what this likewise is pertaining to. It says, but verse 1, Titus 2:1, but speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober, that the men don't be drunkards, that they don't be under some kind of influence where they not thinking clearly. We want to be on point, man. We got a enemy that at all times is gunning for us. Satan ain't taking no break, man. If he not bothering you, you best believe the only reason he stepped back is because he's going to work on another device. He's going to plan something else. So in a time where he leave for a season, we should be powering up. We should be getting ourselves even more strong, working out. It's good to work out bodily wise, physically, but we need to be getting stronger in spirit too, which is something about fasting. By the time day 3 hit in a fast, your body starts to consume itself. The fats that's in the body. And all the bad things, the bad properties that's in our bodies. By day 3, the body starts to consume it. That's on a physical level. So likewise, it's twofold. In the spirit, once we hit day 3 of a fast, we're going straight through with nothing. Man, it starts to eat up all the bad stuff in the spirit too. The mannerisms and the behaviors, the lack of the fruit of the Holy Spirit. All that stuff get to getting ate up. Discipline becomes stronger. You become sharper. All right, continuing on in verse 2 says grave, which means to be serious. It's not a game. Temperate, controlling your temper and emotions. It says sound in faith. We understand that we will be challenged. But no matter what it look like, we got faith that this substance that's more fortified than a fortress is way more powerful than a man can even grasp. We got faith. We believe. We know, as a matter of fact, that these things gonna work out for our good. It says in charity, which is love, in patience. All right, now verse 3 says the aged women likewise. So just like the man's supposed to have those same attributes, the older women. Y'all of a mature age, you older now. What can you teach these young women, these young girls? It says the aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness. Not no loose women, not no wayward women, not no clamorous women, not no foolish women, not no selfish women, not no independent women. It says as become of holiness, not false accusers. So you accusing somebody, gossiping, putting blame and condemnation on somebody, and you ain't even did no investigation to find the hard facts and cold truth. It says not given to much wine. Got a lot of women who drunk, can't control themselves. It says teachers of good things. Yeah, so again, the son might not be able to have access. So, and I say a huge salute to the sisters, the aunties, the cousins, the friends who the man wanted his daughter. The mama was keeping him from his daughter. The sister say, all right, what I'm going to do, because you need to have that bond with your daughter, I'm going to get her and I'm going to drop her off to you so y'all can get a little time. I'm going to tell sis that, you know, she going to come over with me, get some auntie time in. But when I get her, I'm going to bring her over there to you for a couple minutes, for a couple of hours. Then I'll get her back and, you know, that way you can have time with your daughter. Man, huge salute to y'all. Y'all don't understand how powerful that is. How powerful that was when you did that. So it teaches of good things. The women not teaching them to twerk. They're not teaching them to, use that man. All you need from him is his money. Not teaching them, hey, as long as you have small articles of clothing, you can catch his attention and use them how you want to, girl. That's evil. Not teaching the girls to, man, don't respect him. If he get loud with you, you get even louder. If he say something, you bust his head. You bust the windows out of his car. All of that is evil. That don't become of holy women, set apart women, rare women, respectable, honorable women. That's wicked behavior. That's witch behavior. He said, no, they teach good things. Yeah, cuss him out, girl. Cuss him and his mom out. Cuss him and his friends out. If his friends come over, you walk through the house and you see if you can get something out of his friends, girl. These are evil teachings that's destroying our daughters. And ain't no shame in it when they teach them. They ain't telling them, hey, no, baby, you need to cover your head. Come on with me. We finna pray. Let me show you what prayer do. Let me show you what fasting do. Come on in the kitchen. Let me show you how to cook something instead of all the microwave foods. Let me show you how you able to get through to a man when he won't listen. Let me show the power, the real feminine power of a woman that the Most High gave you. How to use it in honor, not the way Satan tried to get you to use it. Said teachers of good things. But because our daughters not being taught good things, they being taught that men ain't nothing. They worthless. They being taught that if a man ain't making 6 figures, 8 figures, that's not a man you want to give your time to. They being taught that just because you're beautiful, you're fine, you know, or you got a BBL or a natural nice shape, the man should be willing to be a slave to you. This is the teaching that's destroying our daughters. They're not being taught anything about moral. moral responsibilities or accountability. A lot of households destroyed, man. A lot of women ain't gonna get that protection, like what the father said. What he gave me a download on. Women not wanting to be covered. You want to just show everything off, everything hanging out for everybody to see. You don't want to be covered. Guess what? When destruction hit, you won't be covered. You won't be protected. Verse 4 says that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children. And a lot of them ain't being taught that because the one who is teaching them anything haven't been taught that. And I gotta say this in all fairness though. There's a lot of women and men who have taught their daughters the right way. But the daughters already had a rebellious mindset. They didn't want to hear that. They chose Satan. They chose the world. They didn't want to listen to that. Verse 5 said to be discreet. Not somebody who boisterous and all out loud, and it ain't nothing that's a secret about you. It ain't nothing hidden or there's a mystery about you. That's what it means to be discreet. You got some privacy about yourself. It says to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of the Most High be not blasphemed. And this was not being taught and understood too. Your behavior, how you operate, can either glorify or blaspheme the Most High. Man. All right, and so a lot of our daughters are being destroyed. They're not being saved because that's not being taught to them. And if it is being taught, it's not being enforced. All right, being celebrated in the wickedness. So let's go here to Leviticus. Going into the Torah. Let's go to Leviticus 19. And I say all of this with love, man. This is not no bashing session. It ain't got nothing to do with no bashing. This is the truth. And of course, yes, the truth does offend people. It's not my intent to offend nobody. But if it does, I'd rather offend you than the Most High. Leviticus 19, going into their power. So many women not understanding the power that women hold. I want y'all to pay close attention to what they say. Leviticus 19, verse 29. It says, do not prostitute thy daughter. One of the ways the daughters get prostituted is you see them put on some clothing that might be too fitting, too revealing, and you say nothing. You see them do something, they go get a nose ring early. They too young for it. Their nose ring is something for grown women. And you got so many sickos, perverts out here. You got a high level of pedophilia operating. And guess what? Those men who aren't subjugated to those spirits, guess what? They don't care that your daughter is 11 or 10 or 16. But their nose ring make them say, oh, they even more mature. A lot of them blooming early. They got the research about what the fast food been doing to the bodies of our young girls. Said this fast food, the McDonald's and Burger King and all these other fast food restaurants, they eat it and it's causing them to bloom and blossom before the time, family. They spread it earlier than they supposed to. They putting it in the foods, not just the fast food, even the foods that we get from the grocery store, Walmart, Kroger's, Publix. Yeah, they putting stuff in the food so that they can mature bodily wise, physically wise, earlier, so that they would be more desirable to those who have those perverted eyes. All right. So do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore. Just telling them like, you know, might talk to every man you want to. Date all of them, like some fool said before. Date all of them. No, you don't date no all of them. This is the importance of why that godly man is needed. And even if he ain't godly, a respectable, honorable man who truly loves genuinely his daughter, love his niece, love his little sister, his auntie who's actually younger than him. Yeah, this is where he's the guardrail to let him know, look, that man is only going to be attracted to you as a toy because you showing off everything, sis. He would never marry you. He would never even enter a covenant with you mentally. Where he's like, even if he didn't put it on paper or give you a ring, he would never look at you in a way where he would say, I'm willing to die for this one. I'm willing to go to prison for this woman. I will protect this woman. He will never get to that mind state because you're on display for everybody. You're just some fun for him. You're not somebody who he will feel like he could bring home to his mom if she's a respectable one. You're not somebody that if he does have a daughter who he would look at you and say, yeah, this is a woman that I trust that could teach my daughter how to be honored. To be a whore, man. The B part says, now here go that power. Look at this. Lest the land fall to whoredom, and the land become full of wickedness. Through the Torah, somebody drop it in the chat if you're able to. I haven't read where the whoredom of a man can be so impactful that the whole land become full of wickedness. The whole land falls to whoredom because of that man's whoredom. So this is what I'm saying. The women having a power where if the women operate with that harlot spirit, man, the whole land transforms. Satan being subtle, the highest level of evil, understandings. And so the people in position that controls the programming, guess what? He say, let's use these women because the term is, and I try to say it in a way for this audience friendly. They said this certain activity sells. So some of y'all know what I'm talking about. You can explain that to your children, you know, in your own time. They said that this sells, and the face of it that they used was women. When they wanted to promote and drive the LGBTQ propaganda further and more, guess what? They used women. They used our daughters. They said, oh man, it's kind of cool. It's not really a problem to see two women. But that opened the floodgates for our sons later on. Save our daughters. But you got people who saying, well, I'm just going to let her do what she want to do. You know, she's her own person. She's her own individual. She has her own personality. No. We supposed to correct our children, man. You don't leave them to themselves. Something that I didn't mention in last Shabbat's message. The transgender was in the interview, man. It's a male. He done went through surgery and everything. He got his stuff removed. The man say he regret that his family never checked him and corrected him and told him, don't do it, that's wrong. He said he wished that somebody said something to him. But the people just let him be. And led to that type of destruction. Let's keep going, man. Let me go to Sirach. I'm going to the Apocrypha. Going in there. Sirach, Ecclesiasticus. Save our daughters. And I'm not telling nobody to be like it tells us in the scripture. Don't be no roaring lion in your house. I ain't saying you got to go in there and snatch the mirror down, throw away all the makeup, and throw. I'm not telling you to do that. It's a way to do everything with wisdom. I'm saying that in love, you know what I mean? When we address one another, we should have the mind state to say, how do I want to be addressed? How would I want somebody to approach me? What do I feel like is respectful if somebody approached me to correct me on something? And then you go from there. Pray on it if you need to. Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, though. Chapter 10, verse 2. So I'm tying this in with what we read from Esther chapter 1, verse 18, 17 as well. Because she was the queen. Vashti was the queen. So she set the example for all the other women. You don't think that those other women, maybe not, I'm sure maybe not all of them in the kingdom, was like, man, I want to be a queen. I would that I was a queen. They want to be queens, man. And so if they want to be queen, they looking at how she operates. Now check this out. If he would have just let that slide, you know what I'm saying, that would have put the men at a disposition. All right, so Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 2 says, as the judge of the people is himself. Remember what we read in Joshua last Shabbat? How the judge was wicked? The people was wicked too. It says, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So if he would have let that slide, or if she was, if that action was okay, all the other ones would have turned to a domino effect, where they all start doing the same. Now the girls coming out being birthed, and guess what? They ain't got no respect or sense of care for man. Not even for the king. Yeah. So to stop that, to pluck it up at the root, seeing the fruit of it, but to pluck it up at the root so it don't continue growing and become a cancer throughout the whole kingdom, say, man, we got to banish her. She gonna be removed. So that all the other women would know, hey, you can be removed. You can be punished. You can be banished for that. Let me go here too. They go to Sirach 7. Sirach chapter 7. Sirach chapter 7. Verse 24. It says, hast thou daughters? It's a question. You got daughters? And even if you don't have a daughter, you got nieces that look up to you. You got little cousins that look up to you. Like I said, you got aunties that look up to you. And you don't have to be a minor. You know what I mean? Just if somebody respects what you say, your advice, you're in a position to be able to teach them right from wrong. All right, it says, hast thou daughters? Have a care of their body, and show not thyself cheerful toward them. So again, a lot of times what happens is we praise and clap and glorify the foolishness of our daughter, when it's actually a time to correct and say, hold on, babe. I see what you're feeling like, but that's not right. That's not cool. And let me tell you why, because this will turn to that. So we start giving them the principles of action. Letting them know how this will impact their lives later on, if they choose to adopt certain mentalities and behaviors. Verse 25 say, marry thy daughter. Not saying that you yourself marry her, but the man gives the daughter away. says, marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter, because you've trained and molded and instilled and taught and guided and gave order to this precious vessel right here. So it's a weighty matter to give away, because who is this dude? Who is this man who want to marry my daughter? Who want to marry my niece? Who want to marry my little cousin? Who is this? Who want to marry my little sister? Is he genuine? What kind of man is he? I need to know him. Because as I give her away, she's no longer under my rule. She goes under his. So I want to make sure that it's an easy transition from me to him, where it's not some kind of culture shock, or he won't be the reason of her destruction. What did happen in so many cases? Giving away, not having a care for our daughters, telling them, hey, just worry about the money, or just not having a genuine concern for them at all. Don't want to meet the man she dealing with. Don't got no questions, afraid of the man she dealing with. And then this same man end up being a reason the princess is buried early in life. Like, man, that's not good. We gotta save our daughters. So some say, man, I need my privacy. Man, you get your privacy when you're responsible and have a sharp enough understanding of what privacy is. I'll give you some space. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, nah. Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter. But give her to a man of understanding. Give her to a man of understanding, not just any old Joe Blow. You know what I mean? Just because, like I'm saying, one of the main things was being taught. If he got money, girl, go on with him. Okay, he got money, but he's also physically abusive. He got money, but he's also verbally abusive. He got money, but he's also financially abusive. I ain't gonna give you no but $50 and you better make that work for the whole month. What kind of living is that? Okay, he got money, but guess what? He undermines everything she say. And brothers, if you got a woman and you feel like you don't have to listen to nothing she say, you should be alone. You don't need no woman. All right, but give her to a man of understanding. So that means it got to be some kind of contact made with who she's dealing with to save our daughters. I need to meet this guy. I need to meet him a few times. I need to see what is his mentality. How do this dude think? How does he operate? What make him tick? I gotta try his spirit. And so many times we ain't did that, so then our daughters end up being destroyed. They get with worthless men. Now it comes in. Well, now they actually dealing with somebody who is worthless, or who can be looked at as like, man, you got the wrong one, baby. That's the wrong one. Verse 25. Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter. But give her to a man of understanding. Verse 26. Hast thou a wife after thy mind? Forsake her not, but give not thyself over to a light woman. So for our sons, it's the same flavor. Yes, indeed, you want to know the other families well, Zohar. I think I talked about that before. You want to know who you merging with. Who are you merging your family with? Let's go to Jeremiah though. Save our daughters, man. They're being destroyed at alarming rates. At alarming rates. It's heartbreaking what's going on with our daughters. What's going on with our sons. Our daughters got the power to say, you know, if all our women decided, well, you know what, we finna dress, we're gonna make sure that we covered up all of them, make the same decision. Men ain't gonna go against it. Men gonna get with the program. So okay, well, shoot, this is what we want. And likewise, if men say, you know what, man, we not giving no attention to no female that's moving in a harlot spirit. You know what women will do? Women will get in order. But it's not being enforced though. Jeremiah 7. Jeremiah 7. So that spirit that's operating, that rebelliousness and that contempt spirit, it goes back to what we finna read here. Jeremiah chapter 7. I'm gonna hit 17 first. It says, seest thou not what they do in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem? Do you see what goes on with our daughters and the debauchery and the wickedness and the harlotry? You know what I mean? Do you see what's happening? Verse 18 says, the children gather wood and the fathers kindle the fire. It's a collective effort right here. And the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. Everything is spiritual. And so that mind state ties into when women operate like that, this feminist movement, this goddess complex of saying that they superior to men and all of that, they don't need men. That ties into the worship of the Queen of Heaven. This is what's driving, the driving force. Men are not to be respected. So homage is paid to a false deity. Let me go further. Let me go further to what happened. Jeremiah 44. All right, then that spirit, a lot of times, it operates every year. One of the main ways it come in is through Ishtar or Easter. Rabbits, eggs, a start date. Queen of Heaven paying homage to a false god. You got Shiva operating. Like what they got outside, what's that, Krishna outside the CERN building, the CERN facility. Same thing, man. We in Jeremiah 44, verse 17, where I'm starting it. No, I don't want to start at 17, forgive me. Let me go, hold on. Let me start. Let me start with 7, fam. Jeremiah 44 and 7. You want to highlight this too. Yes, indeed. Help him, Father. Help us. All right, Jeremiah 44, verse 7 says, therefore now thus saith the Most High, the power of hosts, the power of Israel, wherefore commit ye this great evil against your souls, to cut off from you man and woman, child and suckling out of Judah, to leave you none to remain, in that ye provoke me unto wrath with the works of your hands, burning incense unto other gods in the land of Egypt. Whither ye be gone to dwell, that ye might cut yourselves off, and that ye might be a curse and a reproach among all the nations of the earth. And so as we look at these other nations, how their women operate, how their daughters, what they train and teach their daughters, it's not to say that they don't teach their daughters rebellion, but what's commonly presented, promoted, recognized, and shown, what's being displayed is these brown women and how we teaching our daughters to say you don't need a man. Go against the man. Just break his pockets, all this type of stuff. Independent, like I said in Black Codes, the song. When the last time you heard the term strong, independent white woman? Strong, independent Asian woman? Strong, independent Arab woman? Strong, independent Indian woman? When the last time you heard that? Verse 9 says, have you forgotten the wickedness of your fathers and the wickedness of the kings of Judah and the wickedness of their wives and your own wickedness and the wickedness of your wives, which they have committed in the land of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem? They are not humbled even unto this day. It's a pride thing. So they walk forth, they will stretch forth necks, they halted. They don't want to hear nothing. Well, this just me. I'm aggressive. I'm an aggressive female dog. Shameless. Says they are not humbled even unto this day. Neither have they feared nor walked in my law, nor in my statutes that I set before you and before your father. Therefore, thus saith the Most High power of hosts, the power of Israel, behold, I will set my face against you for evil, and to cut off all Judah. And I will take the remnant of Judah that have set their faces to go into the land of Egypt to sojourn there, and they shall all be consumed and fall in the land of Egypt. They shall even be consumed by the sword and by the famine. They shall die, from the least even unto the greatest, by the sword and by the famine, and they shall be in execration and in astonishment and a curse and a reproach. So you got so many of our women that say, man, it's crazy how the least protected individual in existence is a black woman. They say the black women don't get no protection. All right, so it's contingent, I say, and submit to you all, my sisters. That's why it's important for honorable women to be promoted. Because the system and the algorithm is working against y'all by promoting y'all as harlots. Who want to protect the heart? Who want to protect this woman who anytime you go out, she gonna start a fight. She might as well have the sleeveless flannel shirt on. Drunk out of mind, starting arguments and fights and throwing stuff, spitting on people and everything. It's like when you see that and they constantly putting it in the faces of everybody, people saying, I don't want to protect them. Not everybody. Everybody ain't saying. Not everyone. But that's being promoted, which makes it easier for the common people in society to say they don't need to be defended. All right, verse 13 says, for I will punish them that dwell in the land of Egypt, as I have punished Jerusalem by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence, so that none of the remnant of Judah which are gone into the land of Egypt to sojourn there shall escape or remain, that they should return into the land of Judah, to the which they have a desire to return to dwell there, for none shall return but such as shall escape. Verse 15, this is what I'm getting at. It says, then all the men, all right, because men have a great responsibility in saving our daughters. It says, then all the men which knew that their wives had burnt incense unto other gods. They knew this. And they didn't say nothing. They just went along with it. They were complicit with it. Because she gonna get loud and you don't want to get into an argument. Because you don't want to bump heads with her. This is the reason why everything being destroyed around. This is the reason why the Father has set his face against your household for evil. Because you won't even address and stand up to your wife. And I'm not talking about any kind of wife. I'm talking about a wife that's rebellious, clamorous, and she's teaching the other girls in the family, the females, to be evil. You supposed to check that, sir. Says she burnt incense to other gods. She's serving another god, man. Idolatry. It says, and all the women that stood by, and you got other sisters, they right along with them. I seen this video, right? I might just pull it up, but I'll just speak on it. It was a call podcast, and the guy called in and he's talking about his father passed away. His father left all his assets to his son. He didn't leave his daughters nothing. So they get into the conversation, why he did that. Like, what went on? He said the mama had an affair, right? And the daughters sided with the mama and said that they liked the man who their mother committed adultery with more than their own father. So the daddy left everything to his son because the son said that wasn't right. Mama was wrong. Saying that to say, a lot of the women will side together in evil and be complicit, a group of them destroying the daughter. Why our daughters can't be saved. They coming together under the one banner of evil, a lot of them. I'm not talking about all the sisters. It says, and all the women that stood back, a great multitude, even all the people that dwelt in the land of Egypt in Pathros, answered Jeremiah, saying, these women answered, look at that, though. And the men who knew, said verse 16, as for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of the Most High, we will not hearken unto thee. We not finna listen to you. Remember the word refused, ma'an? What we read in Esther, chapter 1, it said that word is also used, a Hebrew word throughout the scripture, used even in place of when one refuses to obey the Most High. As for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of the Most High, we will not hearken unto thee. But we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven. We don't want the real, true creator, living power. The one that kills and make alive. We don't want none, forget what he talking about. We're going to do whatever come out our own mouth. And we're going to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven. An idol. A false god. Says, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings and our princes in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then, check this out, had we plenty of victuals and were well and saw no evil. So the focus on what you got in the material gain, driven so many people, men and women alike, to go against, blatantly against the Father and to serve a demon. They say, I'd rather serve a demon because at least when I served the demon, I had food to eat. So let that be something for those of us who serve in the Most High truly, and you dealing with these different challenges and battles. You say, man, if I'm serving the Most High, why is life so hard? Because the devil don't want you to serve him. That's why. Because he wants you to turn back into the world and give your soul over. Folks playing, man. It's too much playing going on. Oh, you just want to be nice and sweet and think everything's supposed to be cool and good. The Father is a man of war, man. He will spill your blood and your whole household. But he give us grace. He lay out the kindness and give us a chance to repent. He said, man, I'm going to create a moment for you and your daughter to talk, for you to get it right, man. For you to be a righteous influence on her. Don't just let her go out and be whatever she want to be that the world wants her to be. Said the kings then did it. These are weak men, man. They submitted, they submitted to their wives, and their wives weren't coming with no holy information. Their wives didn't have no Holy Spirit in them. One telling them, hey, no, man, we need to go against that and serve the Most High. We done suffered even worse. We suffer way worse for going against the Father. They say, no, man, we want to just have some good food and nice clothes or just something. We want some material. Say, for then had we plenty of victuals. A piece of bread, man. He said, and were well and saw no evil. Food under delusion. Said you saw no evil. You in the evil, idiot. If you operate with that mind state, man, you in the evil. Verse 18 says, but since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things and have been consumed by the sword and by the famine. The moment you set your mind to serve the Most High, you become a prey for the adversary. The moment you choose truth and spirit of the Most High, you become a target from the evil ones. This ain't nothing new. Your soul on the line. Of course they gonna want you to go backwards. Yeah, but they saying here, well, you know, since we stopped worshiping this demon, things got harder for us. Yeah, we can't enter the gate, you know what I mean, by no comfortable way, man. Said narrow and straight, S-T-R-A-I-T, difficult, challenging is the path that leads to life. Yeah, so the Queen Mother of Heaven is being worshipped by rather unconsciously, subconsciously, by so many women, so many people, not knowing this is the God you're giving your homage to. When you choose to be rebellious and be like Vashti. Let me keep going, man. Let's go to Ezekiel 16. Ezekiel 16. And it ain't no wonder why the Most High, thank you, Father. It ain't no wonder why when he discussing the daughter of Babylon, he didn't say the son of Babylon. And when he talking about Babylon, he's speaking on it in a manner of a female. All right, so let's apply that to something current. We're talking about the 4th of July, Independence Day, 250 years for the U.S., so on and so forth, right? The Statue of Liberty, this female, which I'm really prone to believe is a transgender, but however, the Statue of Liberty, this whore that sit on many waters, because America then established bases in so many different countries, influenced so many different countries, and waters meaning people. I'm talking about what's in Revelation. All right, so this Statue of Liberty, freedom, it say, man, if that wicked woman Gad abroad, don't give her passage to just Gad abroad. Go out and do what she want to do. This is what it's telling us. Wayward women that don't respect order, that don't respect instructions. That's how everybody get destroyed. Ezekiel 16. And I suggest y'all read that whole chapter. Ezekiel 16:44, though, it says, behold, everyone that uses proverbs shall use this proverb against thee, saying, as is the mother, so is her daughter. Now, you read these verses prior to, the Father is breaking down the way that Samaria and Jerusalem operated, his people. So this is how y'all been out operating. This is, I'm in Ezekiel 16, verse 44. But said y'all was operating. Now, if we go to Ezekiel 23, tie that in with that. Ezekiel 23. where the Most High is comparing Samaria and Jerusalem with two sisters, a Hola and a Holabah. So they was operating like harlots. You didn't went and dealt with the Babylonians and the Syrians, and they didn't defiled you, and you didn't turn your back on me, and all these. He's comparing us to that. So when we choose to go against him, it's just like breaking wedlock, man. He take it very serious. And a lot of our daughters is getting destroyed because this is not being taught to them. Respect of order is not being taught to them. Respecting instructions is not being. You tell them, hey, put on some clothes. They get the blowing up on, why are you trying to control me? This is my body. Not knowing that there's protection. I'm telling you, put on some clothes because you got, for one, perverts out here. And then for two, if you're out with your husband and you got some evil spirit driving this other man, he might want to say something to you out the way, putting that man in a position where he got to defend you. And guess what? That defense can turn to him losing his life or both of y'all losing your life. But it all can be prevented by simply, hey man, let me make sure I'm covered up. Let me make sure I ain't showing off my shape. Your shape should be showing off to your husband, to your man. It ain't for everybody to see. But the daughters ain't being trained on it, a lot of them. Let's go to Proverbs 31. Proverbs chapter 31. I'm almost done. Proverbs chapter 31. Save our daughters. Save our daughters. Proverbs chapter 31. Because something else just happened. Remember what it said about Vashti? It said she was fair to look on, so she was beautiful. Very pretty woman, attractive. You know what I mean? The king ain't showing her out for other men to have his queen. He said that the woman is the glory of the man, and the man is the glory of the Most High. Hey, he just like, my baby, fine. Man, look at baby. This how he coming. You know what I mean? These men dare not try to deal with his queen because, again, absolute power belongs to the king. You play with her, you're dead. You're dead, sir. Which what happened with Haman. He thought Haman was trying to get Esther or her dad. He's like, man, you gonna take her in my house? Hung him on the same gallows that he had created for Mordecai. Some of y'all know that story. Proverbs 31, though. You know what? I'm going to start with 10. I was going to just get to the one about the beauty. Proverbs 31 and 10. So these are some things and some ways, mannerisms, attributes, and behaviors, you know what I'm saying, of an honorable daughter, and things that can be taught and shown by aged women or women of influence in the lives of these females, these girls, you know what I'm saying, these young ladies. Proverbs 31 and 10 says, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband do safely trust in her. He trusts her. You know what I'm saying? He don't have to worry about her doing something shiesty or, you know what I'm saying, behind his back that's not honorable. You don't have to worry about her being deceptive and deceiving him. Said his heart trust, he's safely trusting her. He ain't got no worries. Said so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. That ain't to say that they ain't gonna bump heads and have problems and disagreements. But nonetheless, this right here is gonna be the foundation and the rooftop, the pinnacle even. How she operate with that man. She's gonna do him good all the days of her. She seeketh war and flex and worketh willingly with her hands. It's not by force. This ain't something where she got to be feeling compelled about. She do this willingly, voluntarily. Says she is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. All right, so she ain't even sleeping all day and all night. She getting up at night hours, getting to it and everything. And she ain't even just getting up selfishly. She getting up selflessly. Verse 16, she considereth a field and buyeth it. So she gonna sit down with wisdom. Let me go pray on it. I think I want that. Let me go fast about that. Let me take this to the Father, to the throne, see what he say. No, because I want to get this done. This is what my mind is on. Says she considereth a field and buyeth it. Then she gonna put in the work to actually accomplish the goal that she done set for herself. It says, with the fruit of her hands she planted a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. So she's using her hands. She's not lazy. This is not a lazy woman. This is not an idle woman. This is not a woman that says, oh, I'm fine on the table. What they saying now, on the birthday. This is not a woman who's saying that just because she's fine, because she's attractive, that she ain't got to do nothing around the house or nothing for the family. This woman understands that she's powerful, and she is one of the working parts of the whole machine. Verse 20 says, she stretcheth out her hand to the poor. Yes, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. So she also has a heart of compassion. So she can consider that it's people who don't have the same thing as she has. And she ain't going to talk down on them, look down on them. Matter of fact, she going to go visit them. When she can, she going to help them out. When she can, now. And notice right here, let me point this out. She reacheth forth her hands to the needy. It's a difference between needing something and wanting something. So a lot of people pour out whatever they got, spend energy to just people who just want it. No, man, it's for those who need it. Is this a necessity, or can you go without it? So she got wisdom to discern where she pouring out her resources in. 21 says, she is not afraid of the snow for her household. Seasons don't matter. Why? Because she trusts in the Most High. She got faith in the Almighty. So even though it's cold outside, or it's raining outside, or it's hot outside, look, none of that stuff ain't going to stop her from doing what she's supposed to do. This is what it's talking about. It says, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. So, understanding who her husband is, if Vashti understood and respected her husband, the king, this ain't no regular man. You got to understand what you do affects what you represent him as he represents you. So the same way a woman wouldn't want a man to put her in a position where she's shamed, the woman not supposed to put a man in a position where he's shamed or where he's embarrassed. I said, so she understands the value of her man. Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. She maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. how she speak, man. She understand that what she say got power in it. Like Cephas told me, he said, energy ride on words. So when she talking, she know how to, not the sweet talk to manipulate, but she know how to use her words with kindness. This is a fruit of the Holy Spirit. And with wisdom. So she ain't just talking about some nonsense and spending all her time talking and gossiping about something. She ain't using her tone of voice and her mouth to just be speaking about a bunch of crap that don't matter. When she talk, it's about something that matters, man. It's important. That ain't to say that she ain't gonna crack no joke and be playful and, say a little something, get a little following, and we all do. But at the behest of it, the leading way, the way she talk is gonna be with wisdom. It's gonna matter, man. And she not gonna coax. It ain't gonna be to coax somebody, trying to manipulate him on something evil. Verse 27 says, she looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. So looking well is not only what we talking financially. It's not just her taking care of bills. It's her looking into the future saying, okay, look at my daughter. Look at my grandbaby. Look at my grandniece. Look at these children. What impact can I influence them? What way can I impact their life to where in their future they won't have to deal with the same things, or that they will be equipped with the knowledge necessary when they face with some kind of temptation. They know how to overcome it and master it in holiness. This is how her mind goes. Not saying, put on that real small skimpy skirt with the fishnets. That's gonna draw the man's eyes to you, and then when you catch his attention after you done painted your face with all the makeup, then you try to manipulate him and use him, get what you want out of him. See if you can get a car out of him. Go to work. Okay, you want to get a promotion at the job? See if he'll lay down with you in order for you to get the promotion. She ain't coming like that. There's foolishness and evil in the sight of that woman who respects the type of woman that we're reading about, a virtuous woman. And these is the same thing that should be taught to our daughters. You got so many women out here right now trying to teach the men. You more focused on trying to teach the man when you need to be teaching them girls, man. Need to be teaching the other female. But a lot of them can't teach it because they're not teachable. Feel like they know everything. So if she don't eat the bread of idleness, you tell her that idleness teach of much evil. So you got all this time on your hand, and guess what? The devil got having a ball with you because you ain't doing nothing. This is why you got so much in you to be thinking evil against all the males. Creating and cogitating and conjuring up thoughts to teach these little girls how to be evil because you ain't busy enough in righteous works. Verse 28 says, her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. So how you look, yeah, okay. Yeah, you pretty. Yeah, you a 10. Yeah, you a 10 out of 10. Yes, you. But that's vanity. It don't mean nothing. That's the shell. And it's too much teaching going into make sure your shell look right. Make sure your appearance is nice and good and attractive. But your moral and your personality, the inside is garbage and trash. It's straight doo-doo. Because that's what's being taught. The Most High is so awesome, just like the video that I posted with the honeydew melon. The fruits, period. He didn't put them in their own cases, family. If I drop that honeydew melon in the street, I ain't gonna do. I'm gonna wash the outside of it off, okay? Because what's really important is what's on the inside. Now, once I cut it open, and if I drop the inside of it on it, the inside of it on the street, then I'm gonna throw it away. All right, but the outside is not more important than what's on the inside. Said beauty is vain, and so you more focused on getting your makeup right. You more focused on how your hair look, if your lips glossed up or not. You more focused on getting tattoos and the type of clothes that you wear. You more focused on it. The clam, the main part of the clam that people want and seek is the pearl that's on the inside. That's the thing that holds the value. It says, but a woman that feareth the Most High, all praises to the Most High. But a woman that feareth the Most High, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. I think I got one more. Yeah, man, so beauty is vain. That's not the main focus. That shouldn't be the main, the thing that we put more and most of our energy into. What kind of personality do you have? Save our daughters, man. Let me see. Hold up. Give me a sec. I feel like I got one more in Sirach. Okay. Yeah. All right, let's go to Sirach though. I'm in Sirach 22. Sirach chapter 22. Yes, indeed. Save our daughters. Save our daughters. Sirach 22, verse 3. I'm starting it. It says, an evil nurtured son is the dishonor of his father that begat him. And a foolish daughter is born to his loss. All right, so that daughter needs training and teaching, understanding. What do you know? Do you have any wisdom? Do you have any knowledge? And I'm talking about heavenly, not sensual and earthly endeavors. Verse 4 says, a wise daughter shall bring an inheritance to her husband. But she that liveth dishonestly is her father's heaviness. All right, so living dishonestly and not honorable. Father's shame, like that's heaven, like that's not somebody he proud of. He's not proud of his daughter. Living dishonestly, treacherously, deceitfully. Yeah, that's not something he's okay to honor. Man. And a lot of our daughters don't care about that because that relationship between the daughter and the father has been polluted, contaminated, or severed altogether because of spite in the mother. In a lot of cases. And in other cases, because the man being weak, he decides, you know what, this is too much responsibility for me. I want to go live my life, so he abandoned the child. Verse 5 says, she that is bold, listen to this. Remember when we started with Vashti? She that is bold dishonor of both her father and her husband. But they both shall despise her. So you being so bold and your chest out again, your father and your husband, both of them hate you. This ain't, and you got women that'll read this, that'll hear this, and feel like the Most High is the problem. He telling you the key, right? Don't be no bold woman like that. You don't want to be hated by your husband or your own father. Don't be no woman who just around here bold like that. You got your chest out like you the man of the house. This is what he's telling us right here. And it don't apply to every woman and every, female. The word gonna hit his target. All right, so for a quick recap, save our daughters, don't prostitute them, understanding that the woman can cause the whole land to fall to water. Vashti, she refused to come in when the king beckoned her, which refusing the king, he really could have killed her. Instead, he chose to banish her. By her being a queen, in a position of influence and power, that would have trickled down to all the other women in the kingdom to cause them to despise their husband. All right. We talked about the women pouring out drink offerings and burning incense to the queen of heaven. That's the spirit that's being glorified. When women move in that type of mind state and mentality. Likewise, this was being taught to the children. The older women supposed to teach the younger women, teach the younger girls, as well as the men. Let's teach our daughters the right way, the honorable way of things, that everything is spiritual. Or correcting our daughters in the time that they're supposed to be corrected. Beauty is vain. And what refuse mean, that Hebrew word ma'an. Refusing, also referring to refusing to obey the Most High. Yeah, so save our daughters, man. Prayerfully this was edifying. Prayerfully it helped somebody. Like I said, in many cases where the influence in the life of the daughter is going to be somebody other than her own mother, other than her own father. If you're in a position like that, be careful to teach and train our daughters up in an honorable way. All right, because Satan want to use them as a tool to cause all of society to collapse. You want to see them at odds. And when we don't teach them right, and we teach them to be rebellious, to be haughty, to be self-willed, to be unrighteous, you set them up for their futures to already be destroyed before they even make it. Indeed, man. So, shalom, shalom. Question, comments, and concerns, man, before we close out. Questions, comments, and concerns before we close out. You can drop it in the chat now. A higher love. Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, family. See what y'all saying in the chat. Yes, indeed, social media has a stronghold on many of our people. Talked about that before, too. That algorithm is feeding you. You say, what you want to post on your feed? Because it's feeding you information, and it'll feed you what it think you like. I like that. Sister, it reminds me of Miriam when she spoke out against Moses. Miriam was a powerful woman. All the women followed her with timbrels when they were delivered from Mitzrayim. I would have to shut that down real quick. Yes, indeed. A lot of y'all sisters, y'all set the tone. You know what I mean? Even in so many cases, you know what I mean? The woman is like the decoration, the decorator. You know what I'm saying? Like the book tell her, the woman is the glory of the man. You know what I mean? So y'all's position is powerful. You know what I mean? We want to train our daughters up the right way. Let me see what else y'all saying. Satan came to Eve because he knew she was the weaker vessel. Indeed. And he's still running that same play today. And there we go. You got this wicked, demonic female, Young Miami, promoting a song for scammers, for men to be scammers, and for the girls to be boosters, meaning to go into stores and steal clothing, putting them in position to send them to prison, send them to jail, mess up the future, scam. It's like, man, this is what's being promoted and put on a pedestal. These type of people, these folks demonic, man. They demonic. Let me see. Let's see. See what else y'all seeing over here. Yeah, you know, and even like what I was talking about earlier, just training our daughter to say money, 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 money. You know what I mean? Focusing on money, or even focusing on a man's status to say, okay, well, he's popular, or he's a leader, or he's famous, and teaching them to want to be that trophy in certain cases. You're not telling them about, okay, you're so focused on the money, but Satan and his cunningness, a man will go get some money and flash this money just to attract women. And guess what? To treat them like toys, what I say, but in the sense that the man got something going on in his body. You ain't telling them, hey, look, I don't care what's coming. Look, the blood, the life of the body is in the blood. You don't know what's in his blood. So you thinking that you just gonna be chasing after this money, letting the money lead you, then he wanna lay with you and give you some. That type of our daughters are being destroyed. A lot of the parents and key influential figures in the lives of our daughters afraid to have real conversations with them. Man, we need to talk to them. The devil ain't waiting, man. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, I remember that. I remember that. Sis said something about they had this pose where the women had heels on and they standing on one foot with the leg crossed over some kind of way. But you go back and look at this picture, you got this elephant deity, this demon, basically, false god, who that same demon had the pose that they were reenacting. Everything is spiritual, man. Mm. Yes, indeed. Prepare for battle. You gotta go to war for our daughters a lot of times. Sons too, but I'm more focused on the way the Father led it to dropped it on me this morning. was about the women, save our daughters. Yeah. Mm-hmm. JJ, yes indeed. He said the most high. Let's get that verse. Let's get that verse, man. Hold up. Let's get that verse. Yeah. And it looks so strange. Proverbs 11. Proverbs 11. Verse 22. Thank you for that. Yeah. Proverbs 11, verse 22. It say, as a jewel of gold, precious metal, high value. It says, as a jewel of gold in a swine's snout, a pig, this filthy, nasty creature. It says, so is a fair woman. So she pretty, she look good. That shell right now, which is without discretion. So this woman don't have no type of reserve about herself. You know what I'm saying? She ain't got no type of, like I said, privacy and self-respect. So it's just like having a gold ring in a pig's snout, in a pig's nose. Yep. So we want our children, teach them to be, we want to promote praise and, clap for and encourage discretion and modesty. And that don't mean you gotta be dressed like some kind of old hag or something. That don't mean it. Don't let them folk fool you. Don't be thrown off by these wicked women who want to say, "Oh, you a pick me. You just a pick me." Don't wish and pray, hope and beg and cry that you got picked in the end. But that's just how the devil works. You say when he speak of a lie, he speak it of himself. So he play with the reverse psychology and backwards talk. Try to make you feel bad about being picked. Let's see what else y'all saying here. Yeah, a lot of these parents are lost. They feeding it and buying, and like I say, and that's another thing. They also go in with giving children over to Molech. You know what I mean? Sacrificing them to Molech. And we prostitute our daughters and our children, sell them out like that. Encouraging them to be wicked and evil. Yes, indeed. I know that there's a lot of women probably want to stone me right now. It's okay. Hey, I go out like Stephen. Go out like Stephen, man. Let me see. Tiffany White, all praise to the Most High. Yeah, you be encouraged. Be encouraged to teach right. I think I might close it out right here because this is the facts of what happened. This is what's existing. Going to First John. 1 John 3. First John 3. Yes, indeed, Zohar. Set apart ways clean, don't get caught dirty. Yep. 1 John 3. Excuse me. verse 10 on the head says, in this the children of Ahiah are manifest, and the children of the devil. So you got to understand that everybody is not a child of the Most High. You a wheat or a tare, you a goat or a sheep, child of the Most High or a child of the devil. And so when you speak in righteousness and truth in the spirit, you know what I mean? You got people that will contend with you and try to tell you that you wrong for saying do what's right. Like they say, woe unto them who call good evil and evil good. Yeah, so when we talking about teaching our daughters the proper way, the honorable way, you know what I'm saying? Not the ways of these loose people, heathen, and have them out here operating like real heathens, demonic. Now we in the right. And the devil don't like it because he rather have them. He rather have them under his control. Yep. All right. I don't see any other question, comment, concern before I close out, man. Smash the like button if you haven't. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. So long as the Father bless me to be able to, if it's his will, every Shabbat at 3 o'clock Central Time. That's when I'm going to go live. If I don't come on right at 3 o'clock on the nose, it'll be within the 3 o'clock hour. You know what I mean? So long as he permitted. You know, question, comments, concern before we close out, man. All right. In the meanwhile, think of anything else that you might need to contact me about. Send me an email at childrenoftheprophets144@gmail.com. Yes, indeed. All right. I love y'all. Be safe. Stay elevated. Let this digest in our spirit. Let it not be something that we, discussed and sat here, listened to just because it felt good. Because that's what happened a lot of times. It's just a word for the moment. Now carry this with you. Keep this in mind. May the Most High guide y'all. May he guide us with wisdom, love, and understanding, even unto New Jerusalem. Enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.